What's up, everybody, and welcome to the season-ending 2023 Wrap It Up Rewind right here on the Pregame Show Network. I'm Tolly Carr in Atlanta. As we get ready for a baby new year in 2024, we are going to, once again, the beard that stole Christmas. It is our one, our only, Uncle Neely. What's up, brother?
I love it, man. The beard that stole Christmas.
Yes, I saw you. I think it was episode 5 of Coach Prime on Amazon Prime. And man, let me tell you, your beard on Amazon Prime with their Ultra HD cameras looks fantastic. I can see the little curls in your beard, that side angle, the way they shot you and the way the light was hit. I know you were admiring your own beard watching that, Neely.
You know, I'm often late for meetings and often late for shows such as the Rewind with Tolly Carr because I'm in the mirror fascinated by the beard that stole Christmas.
So if you have not been keeping up with Coach Prime, man, make sure you catch that because Uncle Neely's he's really starting to make more appearances in the episodes as they go along. You know, amazing enough, not referred to as Uncle Neely. You're Christopher on that show.
Yeah, I think that, you know, Amazon and all of their professionalism and expertise in that space, they don't really go with the nicknames unless it's Coach Prime. Otherwise, they got to use your real name.
Well, hey, there is no professionalism here at all. Anything goes. It is Uncle Neely right here on the Pregame Show Rewind on the Pregame Show Network. All right, Neely, all throughout the season, man, we started back in the summer. We were rewinding every week, showing people what they did not see. People are getting a chance to see it all now with season 2 of Coach Prime is now out. Neely, we're, got a handful of episodes in, man, and I'm seeing things that, I thought I knew it all. I'm seeing things that I didn't know. I didn't realize. I'm looking at Bishop, missing meetings and having to duck walk, and I'm like, okay, that might explain something that was happening that I didn't know about. Well, I know you know more than me, obviously, but what have been your thoughts on the latest episodes?
That's one of the things I absolutely loved about it. As the season was going on, so many things were happening in and around the program. And the fans out there watching the pregame show or even ESPN and Sports Center, were wondering why is this guy not playing or why is this guy, not in practice? But when you get to see the Amazon Prime documentary that's on Amazon Prime right now, you can see the behind the scenes kind of nuances of why certain things were taking place or not taking place. So it's an excellent backdrop to give you some deep dive details. But Tyler, let me tell you this. January and February, we're going to be rolling out some never before seen footage on any platforms that we've collected over the past 12 months.
Man, I'm looking forward to that, Neely. I've got to see it. You got to incorporate me. You got to make me a part of the presentation, man. I want to be there for it.
Absolutely. We're going to make it part of the Rewind, part of the Big Boys on the Pregame Show Network. The pregame show itself is still something taking place during the football season. But when there's not active football going on, we got a lot of programs coming at you, man. And I've spent so much time with Coach Prime over the past 12 months, just he and I recording things, such as a trip to Vegas for one of his speeches. And we're going to start dropping that content out where you can really get a good look of what happens in his life behind the scenes. So this is not the time to back away and wait till August or football season. This is the time to dive in deeper because we got some exclusive content coming.
All right, looking forward to it. Neely, we're going to look back at some of our favorite moments from 2023, but we cannot get up here and start talking, man, without talking about that transfer portal, baby. It has been lighting up week after week. Just give us a quick overview, man, of what your thoughts are on some of the new faces that are coming into Boulder.
So here's the real quick, I told you so. There is not a person in America who follows college football and didn't know that we needed to improve our offensive line and that was going to be the priority. And that's just what Coach Prime went out and did. You went through a 7-day period of bringing in 7 new offensive linemen. And don't forget, you still got a Tyler Brown there who's going to be eligible, as well as other players who contributed and played still on the team. And the next phase was stopping the run on defense. So he's been out there in the portal, man, signing guys not who were just on teams at D1 level, Power 5 level, but who were players. And I think that's going to be the biggest change in this season compared to last season, is that you're not bringing in second and third string guys from a Florida State or a Florida. You're bringing in starters, from some of these schools that'll be joining this team. So it's going to be an immediate impact, for the production of Shedeur Sanders and this team. I'm looking forward to it. But the quick answer, Tyler, I told you so. He told you we were coming. You're going to see it this fall. This team is going to be much better in the Big 12 performing with these new players.
Well, make sure you follow the pregame show on social media. We continue to drop all the information there as new faces show up to the program, and also follow us on our website, thepregameshow.com. Of course, that is 2 E's, THEE, pregameshow.com. We appreciate your support throughout the year. An incredible season, an exciting season. You felt all the feels, all the emotions, all the ups and downs. And we were there to give you the information and take you behind the velvet rope a little bit throughout the year. So we appreciate that. All right, Neely, let's get in the rewind machine, get a little nostalgic here before we close out this year and head into 2024. Neely, when we started this show back in, before the season even started, so we're in the preseason and, summer camp, Neely, I had no idea what to expect. You were providing all these videos. They were working out. They were, practicing. And I was like, I don't know what this is going to look like. But one of my favorite videos, if we can get Miles in the back, shout out to Miles, our director. We're coming up. We got a director now, Neely. There was this workout video. It was in the weight room. Neely, I want you to describe again. This was probably my favorite video because it was like a good movie. You did not see the end coming. What were these guys doing here?
This was just that off-season conditioning program, the D lineman there, that Shane Coates, on the squat, man. And you got Coach Nick Williams, who's now gone on to be at Syracuse. But Mo Sims runs, man, a stellar off-season workout program, getting those guys ready to perform their task. And one thing that they were on that Colorado team was strong. They were in shape and they were ready to play. We ran into depth issues, not strength issues. And so these were guys who were hitting those, the maxes, if you will, hitting their max weight in front of the team and getting going. And, man, the energy in the room that day when you got guys breaking their own records, coming into camp lifting one weight and going out of camp lifting another. Unbelievable the weight they were throwing around.
All right, here it is. He's going for his max. He's got the crowd going crazy. He's got the support. Will he barbecue or mildew? It is straight barbecue, baby. And the crowd goes wild. Neely, it was just the energy. It was the energy for me on that video. Just to see that support. When you can just, really turn up in the weight room, man, and your teammates are behind you and everybody's pumped up. That was one of my favorites, man. And Neely, that's where it starts, right? Like, being able to shed those, linemen and get past people and do what you need to do. It starts right there in the weight room.
That's absolutely where it starts. So many times back in our day, Tolly, a guy would score a touchdown and look in the camera and say, "Hi, Mom." Now you need to be saying, "Hi, strength and conditioning coach," because those are the guys who get you ready to make those plays in the offseason. What you do in August and September starts February, March, and April and getting stronger. And one of the things that Coach Nick Williams used to say back then is that when this team becomes player-led instead of coaches having to do all the challenges, instead of coaches having to motivate, when it becomes player-led, you're going to see a new team. And that's something that you saw start this past spring, a year ago, was them getting ready and motivating themselves.
All right, keep us up to date on timetables here. I know everybody's, celebrating the Christmas holidays and all the different holidays we celebrate this time of the year, getting ready for New Year. At what point will we start to see players, back in the weight room, back conditioning, back on campus, being able to do some level of team activities for spring ball? What type of, how much more time do we have to wait, Neely?
College football is just about year round now. You have bowl games that make it over into the new year, and you get that period off in January. But pretty much into January, February, guys are back in the weight room. And so you're going to start to see that crescendo take place. School is back in right around MLK Day. Toward the end of the month, you'll start seeing guys in the weight room, and it's ramping up to March and getting ready for spring ball. So I would say around February, late January to mid-February, then March through April, man, you're going to be seeing weight room content, strength and conditioning content leading into that spring game.
All right, I want to see some of those offensive linemen that you said that your kind of Mendoza line was, I need some offensive linemen in there that I'm afraid to go up and ask for an interview. So I don't want any of this chummy stuff, Neely. I want to see you, very humbly with, excuse me, sir, would you mind? That's what I need to see.
And that's what I want. I want to be scared of him. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Old Uncle Neely. All right. Part of the whole process at Colorado was not only the weight room and the grind and everything that happened on the field. There was a lot of excitement off the field. I mean, I don't know. I never did the research to find out if a school ever had both Fox and ESPN doing their pregame shows live at the same time, but we know that Colorado did it this year. That was a lot of fun. You just had celebrities galore at the games, on the sidelines. I mean, it was like Hollywood in Boulder. And to quote Deion Sanders, these are not my words. It was like the BET Awards. He said it, not me. Neely, you had some celebrity friends that you met, and we want to play an interview here. One that I know that you were pretty excited about because this goes into our wheelhouse, the old guy's wheelhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, here's one of our favorites from 2023. It's Uncle Neely. It's the good doctor, Dr. J in Boulder, Colorado.
Well, I had to follow somebody, and I was hopeful that somebody would be following me. So he's that guy. When you look at him, he always keeps his head up high. He's always truthful. He's always in the moment, and he's never afraid. Never afraid. He's fearless, and that's something that I admire about him, and that I admire about the type of man he is, the type of father he is, the type of American that he is, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you guys, talked about his legacy and how he's leaving his mark, and you both left your mark on sports. When you look at what's taking place in Colorado and the ripple effect across college football, what do you think it means for the landscape?
Well, just being here, I mean, I'm not a college football fan, but I'm a Deion fan. And, one of the Sixers owners, David Adelman, is one of his best friends, if not his best friend. So he asked me if I wanted to go out and check out a game and meet Deion and, get reacquainted with him. I said, hell yeah, let's do it. So here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Man, the doc looks as cool as he ever did. Maybe the silver doc now is happening to all of us. But Neely, man, meeting Dr. J, that had to be top 5 for you this year, I would imagine.
I'm going to put it in top 3 in lifetime, not just this season at Colorado. Through Coach Prime, and I know we're going to get into some others, but through Coach Prime, you get to meet just a long list of celebrities and folks that you've admired and what they've accomplished in their careers. From The Rock to Mark Jackson. I mean, you name it. But meeting Dr. J and sitting in on the meeting with Dr. J and Coach Prime, that's up there, man. Because that's a guy that I grew up looking up to. And then to hear Coach Prime tell Dr. J how much he motivated him from afar. That's who he patterned his professionalism and style after was Dr. J. So, man, Dr. J, meeting him, getting that interview, is number 1, Tolly. It's not just in the top 5. That's number 1.
The one thing about, when you start to hang out with these guys and spend some time around them, Neely, one of the cool things is when you realize, people that, that we've put on a pedestal because of the things they've done, athletically, culturally, and what have you, is when they admire each other and you see that admiration for one another. And like, man, that part's really, really cool.
Yeah, Coach Prime has a book coming out this spring. The finishing touches are going in on it now. And he had his manager, Sam, he said, hey, man, go grab the book. I want to show Doc something, because there's a chapter in the book about how Dr. J inspired him and motivated him. So, you have these people that are iconic, but they have people they look up to. Dr. J said, as much as I appreciate that, Brian, I wouldn't be who I was, without a Wilt Chamberlain or Bill Russell to look up to and guide me. So they just had this torch passing kind of moment and admiration, man. It was a cool thing to witness.
Well, Neely, we're not going to mess with the YouTube analytic here. We're not going to play any music, but Neely, there was a concert in Boulder about every weekend, man. Have you ever seen anything, you had DaBaby, you had Lil Wayne. I mean, you had just at one point the whole Wu-Tang was there. Musically, just some of the guys that you met this year on the music side, man, celebrating 50 years of hip hop this past season. I mean, that was pretty incredible as well.
Yeah, I mean, Lil Wayne bringing the team out, Lil Wayne doing a concert on Big Noon Kickoff. You had the whole Wu-Tang. You had Cameron from Dipset there. Can't forget Master P, who not only came to talk about the cereal that Snoop is doing with him, but also that Coach Prime is going to be on a future box of that cereal. So when you talk about the entertainment mecca of college football on a Saturday morning, you had to be in Boulder, Colorado, because as you said, quoting Coach Prime, it was the BET Awards. Everybody was there, man. It was just electric energy, but also see them hanging in the locker room and playing ping pong with the football players and shooting pool against each other. You just never knew who was going to show up on game day, but it was somebody who has made a big splash in their career. And DaBaby was all in, man. Cowboy hat going in the student section, phenomenal atmosphere.
Yeah, and his music got cleared for the documentary. I heard some of his music in there, so that was a win-win for sure. Neely, did the players, for the most part, were they just accustomed to this from jump? Did you see some guys look starstruck and then kind of get used to it? Like how was it just being in this celebrity fest from day one?
I think you hit it spot on. There's this starstruck that happens, and then you do get used to it. But one thing I used to tell the players is don't get used to it. This is not how life works. So celebrate these people when they're around you, learn from them, glean from them, get to know them, because this isn't an everyday occurrence in your life. Even on the football side, you got back-to-back Hall of Famers coming. Michael Irvin is there one practice, Terrell Owens one practice, Warren Sapp another practice, 3 gold jackets outside of the gold jacket that belongs to your head coach. It's something that's not occurring anywhere else in college football. Same thing on the celebrity side. They know somebody is coming, but they're never surprised at who it is. But you did see the growth and development, from August camp to the end of the season, that there was a little less and less starstruck attitude about it, and kind of like, yeah, we're used to this. But you could tell they're really not used to it. They loved every minute of it.
Distraction or no? A lot of people want to say, oh, you got all this going on. It's a distraction. Did it ever give you a vibe that any of this big light that follows Deion Sanders was a distraction?
Absolutely not. If anything, it showed me it was a motivation. And when you have Warren Sapp watching you practice for a week, you want to go out and impress Warren Sapp on game day. Same thing with the receiver units, with Terrell Owens, watching them practice, and you want to go out and impress him. Same thing with DaBaby in the locker room or the Rock in the locker room. You want to go out and play harder with those people around. I didn't get a sense that it was ever a distraction whatsoever. It was definitely a motivating factor for these young people.
All right, Neely, a lot of bowl games going on right now. Some teams are showing up. Some teams are technically showing up, but everybody's opt out. There's different levels of excitement. Do you have a little place in your heart, Neely, that's burning that Colorado did make a bowl game this year?
I'm kind of over that part of it. Even with the bowl games being on, we kind of immediately knew what was going to happen mathematically when it did happen, as far as not getting 6 wins. But when you look back and saw what kept us from getting 6 wins, and then when you look ahead and see what we've now brought in and how they're going to be game changers in those scores, keep in mind, man, there were only a couple of games that you just weren't in. The other 4 or 5 that you lost, you were either leading or lost by 1 score. Shador was sacked 52 times. You got to revamp the offensive line. We gave up big run plays during game. You got to revamp defensive line. If everything else stays the same, we're going to pick up more wins and be not just bowl eligible next year, but I'm talking about playoff. You're going to be in one of those 1 through 12 slots, the way this team has been revamped. And if you think I'm crazy, then Coach Prime is crazy too, because here's what he did at the premiere for the documentary. He told the crowd, we're going to take Miss Peggy, our 100-year-old fan, to a bowl game. You know, last year he didn't guarantee a particular record, particular number of wins and losses. He's going to take it one game at a time, try to go 1-0 in each week. Going into this season, he's already said we will be in a bowl game next year.
All right, looking forward to it. Neely, I like your new microphone there, man. You got this booming, like, from the voice of God thing going on. You got it's all gold. I got to upgrade. I just got a little black, like, styrofoam looking stuff over here, man. You got the gold-plated mic.
You know, I got a beard, but you can't sit in my lap. Santa was good this year. Alexis, this was a gift from my daughter, Alexis. She said, Dad, I'm going to get you a gold mic. And here it is.
There he goes. He's our man, Uncle Neely. All right, let's do some more of the Rewind Celebrity Edition, at least this segment of the show. One of the ones I liked. These are two of my favorites here. Neely got the opportunity. Two guys that we see on TV. They keep us in stitches. They rolled up as a tag team in Boulder, Colorado. It was, his fraternity brother, Cedric the Entertainer, and Anthony Anderson hanging out with our Uncle Neely.
What's up, Diggs? What's up, yo? We out here, man. We down here, man. We on the field. It's great to turn up, man. Rocking. Just sat in there with the coach. I gave him a whole gameplay for the day. I gave him stuff that out from when I played Madden. And I told him use all my moves.
So that means we're going to win.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah. Easy call, man. No, that's good. And we go way back, me and Deion, so it's a legendary thing to come down here and be a part of the culture, man. It's lit.
There's been a lot of people to pull up, man. I know he's happy to have you here.
Yeah, man. You know, definitely. So we go back to when he was the hot young star. You know what I'm saying? Of course, now, you know, he was doing it on the coaching side, but, you know, we back in the day. So, you know, all our fame was related. So it's fun to be a part here and see that the team doing well. City popping off. We in the Colorado is lit, man.
So one question though, why Anthony Anderson hiding over there?
Because you know he think his beard is a disguise. Look at him. Hey, why you hiding, man?
I ain't hiding. I'm over here.
Now I think the beard is the giveaway. He need to shave the beard if he want to hide.
That's what we trying to tell him. He walked down the street, everybody looked at him like they knew that beard. I told him don't cut it off, man. We trying to sell barbecue sauce.
Now he out of hide.
I wouldn't hide, man. Well, I'm in the witness protection program, man. You know, I'm in Boulder. I don't know what follows me to Boulder.
So now we got to finish it up.
Well, you know what? We're making history. We're making history, and I'm a part of being the history making here. So I'm excited, man. Yeah.
Look like you can suit up, man.
You know, I asked Coach if he needed me to suit up today, and he was like, you know what, Ed? I'll let you know at halftime, but you good for right now. I was like, okay, Coach, I'm going to be stretching.
Well, Anthony Anderson didn't get in the game. He maybe could have made an impact, thrown a block here or there. Got called for offsides or something. But Neely, when you talk about, man, bringing the culture to Boulder, I can't think of any other year where Anthony Anderson, Cedric the Entertainer, is going to roll up and say, let me see what's going on with the CU Buffs.
Last time you saw something like this occur was at Jackson State. And that was also part of the prime effect. Deion Sanders has a gravitational pull, you know, in his celebrity circles, people that have admired him, worked with him, been a part of his life that he's looked up to, and they, of course, have looked up to him. They show up to games to support him and to pour into these young men. And I tell you what, man, Anthony Anderson could have certainly been no worse on the offensive line. I'd have got out there with him at least for a play or two. What Shador gonna do? Get sacked 53 times instead of 52? So I don't think we've been that much worse. But it's just to see those guys there on the sideline and at the peak of their careers, and they're still doing things, you know, in TV and comedy circuit. And you know, Anthony Anderson is hosting the game show every week, and both of them are partnering on their barbecue sauce, traveling the nation with that. So to see them take their time out their schedule, man, and get to Boulder, whereas Denver is an easy airport to get to, you got to make an effort to get to Boulder because it ain't in Denver. You got to ride to the campus. So for those guys to take that time out, man, and do that, it just speaks volumes of the gravitational pull that Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, has.
All right, Neely, keep it 100 with our audience here on The Rewind on the Pregame Show Network. You can follow us at thepregameshow.com. I see how we're both adjusting our glasses at the same time. Neely, at one point, man, you had to introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Uncle. Maybe you were Christopher. Maybe you were Uncle Neely. I don't know how you introduced yourself, but, you had to introduce yourself to these people. You're trying to secure interviews. But it kind of evolved to the point, Neely, where, you didn't really have to introduce yourself on the walk up.
Man, I am honored to say I've been blessed in that regard. Once upon a time, I would have to approach people. I can think back to season 1 at Jackson State, walking up to Troy Aikman and saying, hey, I'm Neely. I do a sports show with Coach Prime. Would love to interview you if you had a moment for his social media as well as our promotion. You get the yes, and it goes from there. But you fast forward a couple of seasons, and I can be standing there on the sideline and someone like Amari Hardwick says, hey, I'm ready when you are, man. Like, hey, Ghost, I'm ready when you are. Like, we do it. Mark Jackson, shout out to Mark Jackson at the UCLA game. He follows the platform on Instagram and knew about the pregame show and knew who I was and wanted to do the interview. So it's a blessing, man, and to see people, again, that you admire, know who you are and admire your work and want to be a part of the program.
Was there one that surprised you the most where you went up thinking, all right, I'm going to have to introduce myself to this guy or this lady, and they were like, hey, Neely, what's up?
I was pleasantly surprised that The Rock remembered his interview from Jackson State. I'm not going to sit here and say he said, hey, Neely, I remember you. But he was like, hey, man, my man, Jackson State, we did an interview together. And so to have The Rock, who people mentioned even running for president and his 300 million, Instagram followers, to have him know and remember your work and what you did for the program, I'm going to go as far as The Rock remembering and then Mark Jackson know who I was before I could even tell him who I was. Those two were pretty memorable this year.
And The Rock, man, he came to Boulder like he had just delivered the people's elbow the night before. He had made an appearance on SmackDown on Friday night. And I mean, The Rock very rarely shows up on wrestling anymore. So the fact that he was doing that, man, busy schedule, and still, I don't know, he might have said, I'm going to see Coach Prime. Why don't I stop by wrestling the night before? Like, who knows?
That's probably the way it happened. And then keep in mind, that was a night game for us. And he had been up at 5 and 6 that morning doing the college game day stuff. So he put in a full day of his time. And when you get a guy like The Rock, who's filming movies and literally traveling the world to spend a day in Boulder, Colorado, just for the sake of college football and Deion Sanders, that's high marks, man.
All right, Neely, you have spent pretty much a full calendar year now covering Coach Prime there in Boulder. You covered him at Jackson State. You, like many people, went in like, hey, this is a great opportunity. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it is a great opportunity. Let's buckle up and see how it goes. 365-ish days in, when you look back on what you thought or what you had no idea what to think and just overall what you experienced in that first year, how would you kind of sum that up?
Amazing. And it's kind of all over the place because keep in mind, we didn't have a typical January, February that people get in college football because here was an administration change, inheriting a 1-11 program. And you got to figure out where the offices are and get furniture in and all the nuances that coaches only have to deal with one time. That is what we were going through a year ago now. But I will tell you that when you look back over the whole years of totality, I don't think it could have gone any better. People want to harp on the 4 wins, but not factoring in that was a 400% increase over last year. But when I look at the ticket sales, the merchandise, even the increase in out-of-state applications up by 40% just to attend the school, what an amazing 12 months in Boulder, Colorado. Now, here's what I was pleasantly surprised about. My biggest concern, Tolly, coming from the South, was the weather. And I try to tell people, they won't listen. It is not the kind of cold you think it is. With that lack of humidity, no moisture in the air, when it's 25 in Boulder, it feels like 42 in Mississippi. You can make it. It ain't that cold.
All right. We always keep it 100 here, Neely. You did not, moved to Boulder, but you spent a lot of time. You were back and forth. You were dual households there during the season. Now here's the part we're gonna keep it 100, Neely. You came from Jackson, Mississippi, which is one of the blackest cities. And you went to Boulder, Colorado, which is one of the non-blackest cities. What was that experience transition like? I'm just wondering, were you looking for stuff that, comfort you like what was your experience like?
I'm going to tell you what made it just a typical experience, a regular run-of-the-mill day. As drastic as the percentage in population change is from Jackson to Boulder, or even from Jackson State to University of Colorado, when you get inside the football building and you're dealing with Coach Flea, who came from Jackson State, and Coach Prime from Jackson State, and Vincent Dancy from Valley, Coach Andre Hart from Jackson State, you got all these familiar faces, including players and support staff. It didn't feel like you were away from home. It felt like you were at home. And when Coach Prime finally got to meet with the chef and get the food in order, it really felt like you were at home then. So when you get out in the community and go, outdoor state that Colorado is, you can see and sense, the difference in racial population and the disparity and whatnot. But man, when you're immersed in the program, I don't care what school you are, you know how these programs look. And that's one of the things about Colorado, having that black coaching staff and coaching these majority black players. You're not going to feel like you're far away from home because home is literally right there with you.
All right. What were the eats like away from campus when Chef was not taking care of you? I saw Shador had his like pop-up shop at I don't know if it was at this place, but part of the scenery, it may have just been a cutaway transition into that, but it saw this, it was almost like a chicken shack type restaurant. I thought to myself watching that, I wonder how many times Neely's been there.
Quite a few. But I tell you, we first got there in December. We went to a couple of breakfast places, myself and Coach Prime and his son Bucky and Sam, his management team. And man, we're heartbroken. They weren't serving grits in Colorado, not in Boulder. But let me tell you, about 6 months later, you can't go to a breakfast spot in Boulder and not get grits now. So if we ain't done nothing else, we done got grits on the menu in Boulder.
What were you eating? Cream of wheat? Like oatmeal? What was in place of grits?
You nailed it. It's oatmeal and cream of wheat kind of place, man. But we need grits, and we need grits with cheese.
Yes. I mean, you need to have the conversation. Do you put sugar in your grits? Like, those are the conversations you need to be having there. Well Neely, presidential, freedom award for you, man, getting grits in Boulder, Colorado. Way to go, Neely. We on behalf of the culture, everyone that might make a trip out there appreciates that for you being a trailblazer.
I'm honored and I accept this recognition.
All right, man. What are you looking forward to the most? We love to rewind and look back, but you can't talk about Colorado football without the excitement of what's possible in 2024. What are you looking forward to covering? What are you looking forward to seeing, engaging with as the mechanics of the 2024 season get underway here in the next few weeks?
I'm looking forward to seeing the results of Coach Prime having a true football year. A football year is different from a calendar year. We go January 1st to December 31st on the calendar. There's so many things that happen in football that happen in the fall while you're coaching, but they're for next year, such as, high school recruiting and people coming to visit and all that kind of thing. Well, this is literally going to be the first year that Coach Prime has had his stamp on the program going forward. And so to see that culture of winning get more ingrained, the culture of the standard being the standard get to be more ingrained, looking forward to seeing the results of that because I've seen this movie before. I've been in this movie before. I liken this first season in Colorado to his COVID season at Jackson State. And when he got his pieces in place and he got his staff the way he wanted it, went on to win back-to-back conference championships while going undefeated in conference. I think that's the kind of thing that can happen with this move to the Big 12, coinciding with him getting his pieces of the puzzle in place. So I'm looking forward to this offseason, a true offseason, where you're not worried about where some office is or finding your way around town or trying to find housing for coaches or anything like that. everybody is firm in place, and the focus this offseason can truly be football. And I think that's going to be a difference maker when we play football Labor Day weekend.
All right, he is Uncle Neely, or Christopher whenever he appears on professional platforms like Amazon Prime, but he's home here. You can call him Uncle Neely. And that has been our Rewind look back at 2023. So much to look forward to in 2024, and we will do that right here on the Pregame Show Network. For Christopher Uncle Neely, I am Tolly Carr in Atlanta. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hope you enjoyed your holidays. Happy New Year, and we will talk to you real soon.